Your brain is not weak, it is not broken, and it is definitely not slow. The real problem is this: you are not in control of it. Most people think intelligence is a gift. You either have it or you don't. That belief is comfortable. It protects the ego. It gives you an excuse when things get hard. I can't focus. I'm not good at studying. I just don't learn fast. But science tells a different story. Your brain is not designed to make you successful. It is designed to keep you safe and conserve energy. Learning feels like effort. Effort feels like danger to an ancient brain. So your mind resists. It distracts you. It pushes you toward easy pleasure. It chooses scrolling over studying, comfort over growth, quick dopamine over long-term skill. And the shocking part is this: your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. That means the problem is not your intelligence. The problem is that no one taught you how to control the system running inside your skull. And once you understand that system, everything changes, because you can force your brain to learn, not with motivation, not with hype, not with positive quotes, but with biology, with structure, with pressure, with reward loops. There are hidden mechanisms inside your mind that most people never discover. Dopamine is not just pleasure, it is anticipation. Focus is not about trying harder, it is about removing escape routes. Discipline is not about being strong, it is about controlling your environment. Even your identity plays a role. The brain acts in line with who you believe you are. If you believe you are bad at math, your brain protects that story. If you believe you are a learner, your brain starts building circuits to prove it true. This is not motivation talk. Brain scans show that repetition physically reshapes neural pathways. The more you practice a skill, the thicker and faster those circuits become. Taxi drivers in London were found to develop larger memory regions in their brains simply because they memorize city streets daily. Musicians show stronger connections in motor areas because they repeat precise movements for years. The brain rewires itself based on demand. It does not care about talent. It responds to pressure and repetition. Yet schools rarely teach students how their own learning system works. You are told to study harder, but not smarter. You are told to focus, but not shown how to remove distractions that hijack your reward system. Social media platforms invest billions to capture your attention because they understand your brain better than you do. Every notification triggers a small dopamine spike. Every scroll promises novelty. Your brain gets trained to seek constant stimulation. Then when it is time to read a book or learn a skill, the silence feels painful. The mind rebels, and you blame yourself. But the truth is deeper and more unsettling. You are fighting against a reward system that has been carefully conditioned. The good news is that the same system can be reversed. You can reprogram what your brain finds rewarding. You can build focus like a muscle. You can create artificial pressure that activates deep concentration. You can shift your identity so your actions follow automatically. And in this video, you will learn exactly how to do that. You will understand why your brain avoids effort and how to flip that switch. You will learn how to make learning addictive instead of exhausting. You will discover how to design an environment that forces productivity without relying on willpower. You will see how short deadlines increase output and why urgency sharpens intelligence. You will also learn the hidden role of identity and how changing one sentence in your self-talk can transform your performance. By the end of this video, you will not just feel motivated. You will understand the mechanics behind focus, memory, and skill acquisition. And once you see the mechanics, you cannot unsee them. That knowledge gives you leverage, because the mind you have today is the result of what you repeated yesterday, and the mind you will have tomorrow depends on what you repeat starting now. This is not about becoming a genius overnight. It is about taking control of the biological machine inside you. It is about turning distraction into discipline, confusion into clarity, potential into measurable skill. Stay with me until the end, because the final shift we discuss will change how you see learning forever. It will challenge the way you define talent. It will force you to question every excuse you have ever made about your limits. And once that shift happens, there is no going back to the old mindset. If you are ready to stop blaming your intelligence and start mastering your mind, you are in the right place. Welcome to our channel, where we break down complex science into simple truths you can use immediately. Subscribe now, because understanding your brain is the first step to controlling your future. The hard truth is this: your brain is lazy by design, not because you are weak, not because you lack ambition, but because survival shaped it that way. For most of human history, energy was scarce, food was not guaranteed, danger was real. The brain evolved to conserve effort whenever possible. It learned to avoid pain and chase pleasure because that kept the body alive. That ancient wiring still runs inside you. Today you are not hunting in forests. You are trying to learn coding, a language, business, or mathematics. But your brain does not see long-term career growth. It sees effort, and effort feels like threat. Learning is uncomfortable. It requires focus. It requires repetition. It requires sitting still while your mind wants stimulation. To your primitive system, that discomfort feels like pain, so it pushes you away from it. That is why you suddenly feel tired when you open a book. That is why you want to check your phone after 5 minutes. That is why your mind looks for an easier path. It is not stupidity, it is biology. At the center of this system is dopamine. Most people think dopamine equals pleasure. That is wrong. Dopamine is not the reward itself. It is the signal that tells you a reward might be coming. It drives pursuit. It creates craving. When you scroll through social media, your brain anticipates novelty. Maybe the next post will be funny. Maybe it will be shocking. Maybe it will be exciting. That anticipation releases dopamine. Each swipe promises a new hit. It is fast. It is effortless. It is immediate. Learning does not work like that. When you study a chapter, the reward is delayed. The benefit might come weeks later in an exam or months later in a job opportunity. The brain compares the two options: easy dopamine now or delayed reward later. It chooses the easy path, not because it hates success, but because it is wired to prioritize immediate survival signals over distant gains. Once you understand this, everything shifts. You stop blaming yourself. You start studying the system. And the key shift is simple. You must hack the reward system. You cannot rely on motivation. Motivation fades. You cannot rely on emotion. Emotion changes. You must design learning so that your brain receives small, frequent signals of progress. The brain repeats what feels rewarding. That is the core rule. Behaviors that get reinforced grow stronger. Behaviors that feel empty fade away. So if learning feels empty, your brain drops it. If learning feels rewarding, your brain returns to it. This is where most people fail. They try to force long study sessions. They set huge goals. They say they will master everything in 1 week. The brain sees a mountain. It feels overwhelmed. Overwhelm reduces dopamine because the reward feels too far away. Instead, you break learning into tiny wins. 10 minutes of deep focus, 1 solved problem, 1 paragraph understood clearly. When you complete a small task, your brain registers completion. Completion triggers a sense of progress. Progress increases dopamine. Dopamine increases motivation. This creates a loop. Small win, dopamine, repeat. Over time, the brain starts associating study time with reward instead of pain. You also celebrate small progress, not with loud drama, but with recognition. You check off a task. You track your streak. You see visible proof that you moved forward. The brain loves visible improvement. That is why video games are addictive. They show levels. They show points. They show progress bars. Each small improvement feels meaningful. You can apply the same principle to learning. Track pages read. Track hours focused. Track problems solved. Make it measurable. When progress becomes visible, it becomes motivating. When it becomes motivating, it becomes sustainable. But reward alone is not enough. Your brain is clever. It looks for exits. It scans the environment for easier options. The phone on your desk, the notification sound, the open tab, the thought that says, I will start later. Each of these is an escape route, and the brain takes them because they promise faster relief. This is why discipline feels impossible when distractions are near. You are not fighting yourself. You are fighting constant stimuli engineered to capture attention. The solution is not stronger willpower. Willpower is limited. It drains like a battery. The real solution is friction control. Remove friction from learning. Add friction to distraction. If your phone is in another room, checking it requires effort. That small effort is often enough to stop the impulse. If notifications are off, there is no trigger. If you use a timer and commit to 20 minutes of focus, you reduce the mental load of deciding when to stop. Decision fatigue decreases. Focus increases. If you study at the same fixed time every day, the brain begins to expect it. Routine reduces resistance because it removes negotiation. Discipline is not about forcing yourself every second. It is about designing an environment where the easiest action is the right action. When your desk is clean, your book is open, and your phone is gone, starting becomes simple. When starting becomes simple, resistance shrinks. When resistance shrinks, consistency grows. Over weeks, consistency rewires identity. Identity is the hidden driver behind behavior. Most people say, I am trying to learn. That sentence contains doubt. It suggests struggle. It implies temporary effort. High performers say, I am a learner. That sentence changes everything. The brain acts in line with identity. If you see yourself as lazy, your actions will confirm it. If you see yourself as disciplined, your brain searches for behaviors that match that story. Identity reduces internal conflict. Instead of asking, should I study, you ask, what would a learner do right now? The answer becomes obvious. Changing identity does not require years. It requires evidence. Each time you complete a study session, you cast a vote for the identity of learner. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen that identity. Over time, the brain internalizes it. Behavior follows belief. Belief strengthens behavior. The loop becomes self-sustaining. Pressure is another powerful tool. Without pressure, the brain drifts. According to Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time available. If you give yourself all day to complete one task, it will take all day. If you give yourself one focused hour, your mind sharpens. Deadlines create urgency. Urgency narrows attention. Attention increases performance. This is why students often perform best right before exams. The time constraint forces focus. You can use this intentionally. Set short deadlines. Publicly commit to finishing a project. Tell a friend your target. Accountability increases perceived consequences. Perceived consequences increase dopamine related to completion because the reward now includes social validation and relief from pressure. Pressure, when controlled, activates focus instead of fear. Learning then becomes less about emotion and more about system. Systems reduce randomness. Systems reduce reliance on mood. You study whether you feel inspired or not. You track progress, whether you feel excited or bored. Repetition becomes the foundation. The brain changes physically through neuroplasticity. Each repeated action strengthens neural pathways. The more you fire a circuit, the more insulated and efficient it becomes. What once felt hard becomes automatic. That is not magic. That is biology responding to repetition. Over time, you notice something surprising. The same brain that once resisted learning now craves it, because you trained it to associate learning with reward, progress, identity, and completion. The discomfort shrinks, the focus increases. The focus increases, the confidence grows, not because you became smarter overnight, but because you aligned your environment, reward system, identity, and pressure in one direction. The mind you have today is the result of what you repeated yesterday. If yesterday was filled with distraction, Your mind became skilled at distraction. If yesterday was filled with focused practice, your mind became skilled at focus. The brain does not judge, it adapts. It strengthens what you use, it weakens what you ignore. Every scroll, every study session, every decision is a vote shaping your mental structure. When you understand this deeply, you stop waiting for motivation. You start building systems, and systems, repeated daily, reshape the mind without asking for permission. You are not limited by talent. You are limited by patterns, and patterns can be changed. That is the truth. Most people never learn. You can learn a new language. You can master coding. You can build a business. You can develop powerful skills that change your life. The brain you have right now is capable of far more than you think. It is adaptable. It is flexible. It is constantly rewiring itself based on what you repeat. The only difference between someone who learns fast and someone who stays stuck is control. Control over attention. Control over environment. Control over identity. When you stop fighting your brain and start training it, everything shifts. Focus becomes easier. Discipline becomes natural. Progress becomes addictive. And once that momentum starts, it builds on itself. Small wins turn into confidence. Confidence turns into consistency. Consistency turns into mastery. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming intentional, because the mind you build daily becomes the life you live tomorrow. So the question is not, can you learn? The question is, are you ready to take control? If this changed how you see your mind, then this is just the beginning. Subscribe to the channel for more deep insights that help you master your brain and upgrade your life, like this video, so more people can break free from mental limits, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Your growth starts now.